Hi there, it's me, Gamer Tyler here. I'm recapping My Hero Academia Season 8, the final season, Episode 1, total episode 160. Far into the future, on a bright spring morning, Izuku remembers about the war and how Operation Troy was the hero's best shot to, and eventually evening the playing field against the villains. As he clutches a stray cherry blossom petal, he recalls the comics of the ordeal and how powerful the winds were raging at that time. Like in the present, the war of attrition, All Might is encouraged with is in the acting with the rewinding. All for One continues as he flies through the alleys of the city while using his tentacles and floppy suction pads to increase the mobility and make sharp turns along the building's walls. A retired hero is trying to keep his sworn enemy attraction by evading, as he knows that All for One will grow bored with an endless onslaught of attacks. Though he's tired and badly injured, All Might stays vigilant and arms himself with Shoto and Tailman, saying that if he wants to keep inflicting tons of damage to speed up his opponent's rewinding, then he has the perfect add-on from his armored All Might. To do the job, however, the big problem with this mysterious attack is that it would need an extensive amount of energy to yield favorable results. He can't afford to play it safe by using a normal output of it for the move. He then yells up in the sky for Anima, a pair of robotic bird-like drones soaring through the sky to not let him down if he wants to pull off his big attack. All for One then appears right in front of the man, saying that he's onto him and that his stunt won't work. The one then spreads his arms, sending mesh of vibrant stab tender drills into the walls, and the former symbol of peace, who barely managed to dodge and escape. All for One declares that he'll have it both ways, by killing his enemy and conserving energy, as his energy runs into two massive vines of vibrant stab drills with Gargantua's head growing out of him. All Might dives back down into the catacombs and tries to outmaneuver them as he calls out his opponent for lying. All for One ensures him that these attacks waste very, very little energy, and uses this opportunity to get in some choice words about All Might, and his tears off. He tears off the tip of the suit Tailman attachment, as All for One tells him that he's lost his smile. Everyone is going to watch the former number one hero die as a helpless, sickly old man who can only imitate the strength of the youth. The villain then barrels through the building and right into the face of the older man in the blink of an eye, and slugs him right in his scared injury, declaring that he'll snuff the light out of justice out. All Might is sent tumbling down the cracks of ground in pieces as he's caught up in the alarming amount of blood. Despite the devastating blow, All Might stays strong. He uses the tentacles from Tentacle Koi to trap All for One before sticking the barrel of Shoto in his adversary mouth and blasting a powerful storm of ice into his body. As he stares up into the sky at an unknown glimmering object. All Might tells the villain that he doesn't get it, and that even if his light were to go out, someone else will come along to pick it up and shine brightly. And once that happens, the darkness he surrounds himself with will be illuminated over time. His once dying star will be able to twinkle again. And then screams at All for One that because of that, he doesn't feel like he's going to lose this battle. Back in the parking lot ground, Operation Troy kicked off. Kunrad had made quick work of Can't Stop Twinkling and the group of heroes by using his grove of specialized plants to restrain everyone and feed off their flesh and energy, including the lipids that Fat Man needs to fuel his fat absorption quirk. Although Kent Stop Twinkling is beaten and bloodied, and his naval laser is uncontrollable thanks to the sparkle belt being destroyed. Fat Gum weakly tells the student to give it everything he's got. Someone marvels at his flowers growing into a more carnivorous form. He calls the former mole of the League of Villains a disgraceful traitor, while coaching the winds of the boys' ruined belt. Can't Stop Twinkling then remembers the joyous day his parents gifted him that belt. Tells Cunarda that even though he constantly reminds himself of the disgrace he's been to those around him, it's now inspiring him to keep up with the light shining from his classmates, so he can truly make his own from the bottom of his heart. He then charges and fires a haphazard wave of naval lasers, with Kunada poking fun at them, all missing him, but slowly from behind. A particularly visible girl batters the lasers into a large ball of light before reflecting it back at Kunada with pinpoint accuracy using warp reflection naval laser, putting an end to the villain's wrath. At the same time, the Anima drone flies towards All Might location cables from a powerful station plugged into them, before speeding and inserting themselves in a hovering laser cannon. Hercules confirms that the device connection was successful, points that barrel down at the two components while charging up its energy. As All for One managed to overpower and crush Shoto with his teeth, Hercules declares that the weapon is fully charged and has locked its aim on the villain. All Might cackles and tells All for One to listen out for a name that's about to burn him. Hercules then fires the big attack. All Might was setting things up for Can't Stop Twinkling, a devastating laser beam that strikes at for 1 point black and being 1 point black and beings to scorch him violently after All Might sacrifices the arms from Tentacle to hit the deck of the last possible moment. However, the strain from the excess power causes Can't Stop Twinkling to start malfunctioning, and Hercules tells All Might that the bombardment can't keep up with for much longer. All Might tells it to keep firing, so the villain won't crawl out of the attacks as the heat from the beam begins to melting the nearby buildings, while the man is trying to pull off a strategy similar to Star and Stripes' Kinoronos. He doesn't have the power to solidify and apply non-stop pressure with the laser. As a compressive he sends out a funnel of enhanced sound waves to keep everyone from using sound wave vibration. Still using sound wave vibration earphone jack, while applying all around All Might specialized rain coating, invisible gold resine coating. Invisible to stand up in intense heat radiation. Although the grand plan is holding up, the setup costs him Tailman, which he uses to block the punch to his midsection and both his legs and silently. All for One smacks him a wave with some rivet stab tourneils as he begins to crawl out of the blast zone. All Might calls for armor morphing Kreti as the right arm of his suit detaches and morphs into a binding round grape juice. The man tosses the balls towards All for One, using them unfurl and clip the villain's hands to the pavement. As the whole world watches the video feed, a boy in another country asks his grandmother who the skinny dark man on the television is. The old woman tells her grandson that she has no idea, since she doesn't really keep up with heroes. The boy then asks what will happen if All Might wins or loses. And the woman says she wouldn't know, and it isn't really their business, since the fight's taking place far away from them. When the boy accepts his grandmother's answer, he keeps staring at the image of the battered All Might on screen as he clutches his hands together. Back in Japan, Hercules tells All Might that the machine can't take it anymore before exploding, putting it into Can't Stop Twinkling as expected. All for One crawls out of the crater center, now younger and glowing a dull yellow-orange. All Might wastes no time, rushes towards forward as All for One tells the man he's forgotten to smile, and fires an all cannon toward his enemy. As the battered man dodges the blast, All for One propels himself forward in a flash using a yellow ring energy before gleefully backhanding All Might with a ballooned arm attack, right arm, and sending the hero into the edge of this crater. As All Might attempts to recover, All for One tells him that he's now lost everything at this point, and all he can do now is pathetically crawl on the ground while his pain and agony eats away at him. All for One then sprouts a growth out of his right shoulder, which blossoms into a bushel of jagged spikes. As the now young boy prepares to make a mess out of All Might, just like he did to him before. As he steps forward, All for One then stops and shudders, realizes he can't get his body to move. Up from above, the hero killer Stain looms over the villain on a mechanical glider, while licking all for One's blood off a chunk of cement. To trigger blood curdle. All Might smiles and begins to take off as he realizes what's going on. As Stan enters the fight and cheers for All Might to take their newly shared opponent down. As the fight with All for One enters a new phase, especially with Kunihada begins to wind down as a miserable girl pins down the burnt villain. Can't Stop Twinkling then notices that his classmate has turned almost completely opaque, which makes the girl freak out and hide. The boy apologizes for seeing her completely exposed, as he was too hurt and exhausted to react appropriately. Visible World then remembers that a similar thing happened to her back when she figured out her classmate was the UA traitor, and realized that her quirk was caused by naval laser awakening and overcoming its limits due to the stress of the life or death situation. His visible World congratulates the boy on his quirk getting stronger, but Can't Stop Twinkling asks her to pay no mind to that, as they're not out of the woods yet on the battlefield. He explains that they need to burn all the plants created by Kunihada, as while they won't grow anymore, their roots will still feed off their victims. Can't Stop Twinkling asks his classmate to help aim his laser to burn away the flowers and roots like she did with him, which prompts her to question if the boy's stomach is okay. He doesn't answer and simply smiles while looking at the stormy sky, declaring that today will be his last as a student of UA High School. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Help reach 1,000 plus subscribers. Watching video recaps like this one fully helps increase the watch hours to 4,000 plus. And help fund the channel by donating monthly on the Patreon page or one-time donation on the Ko-Fi page. Have a blessed day. See you next video visit. But for now, bye!